Awesome, guys. We are here for the ultimate masterclass on how to reprogram your confidence neurons using NLP, destroy limiting beliefs, and attract the women or woman you desire. And it is hosted by my good friend, an amazing man, Mark Singh.
Thank you for having me, Marni. Really excited to be here, guys. I got myself ready, got myself pumped up, and I'm going to get you pumped up with the exact things that I just used to get myself on that high state. So get ready to focus, get ready to change some belief systems and instill some confidence. So let's jump into it.
How many of you have thought, why do I always feel like I'm not good enough when approaching women?
Oh my God, now it's going the did thing. Oh my, please just work.
Are you sick and tired of losing control of the conversation and being led instead of leading? Do you wish you knew how to install massive internal confidence that you can call upon whenever you want? Yes, of course we all do. Do you? Oh no.
It's not letting me. Okay.
No kidding.
We'll get it.
You're one step away from learning how to do it. Okay, today, which one is it? Sorry.
It's this one.
Okay, what we are about to reveal is going to change everything about the way you interact with women. Okay.
Just read this one. Let's just get into it, man.
All right, we'll get into it. Today, we are going to teach you the exact proven process and blueprint to install massive, unshakable, unbreakable confidence in yourself and turn you into the leader in all of your interactions, even if you carry a lot of past trauma that has been continuously stopping you from being yourself. All right, now you're ready to meet Mark, but I think you've already met him. Mark is a dating coach, NLP expert, and the host of the wildly successful Unapologetic Man podcast that has over 2 million downloads, which is crazy, and a cult-like following. With over 20 years of coaching experience, Mark specializes in helping men from various backgrounds meet and date more women by reprogramming and replacing negative belief systems in their subconscious mind with neuro-linguistic programming. He has also created some of the most copied and mimicked dating techniques and strategies on the internet, boasting client success rates that are among the highest in the industry. It's freaking cool, guys, obviously. Like, it's crazy. So your turn, Mark. Now this is all on you.
All right, fantastic. Well, first of all, guys, I appreciate you trusting me enough to come into this program. Some of you have heard of me. Some of you have listened to my podcast. Others of you have no idea who I am. So what we're going to do is some NLP processes, and NLP is basically guided visualization. I want to let you know I'm not going to hypnotize you, make you squawk like a chicken. It's all very gentle, very healing modalities that have you visualize. Now, when we visualize, some of you may struggle to picture exactly what I'm explaining. That's okay, because the real magic takes place what we call behind the curtain in the subconscious mind with what I call embedded commands. So this is all for your healing. You need to kind of let go and trust in me and just let me take you through the process. I guarantee you that if you're able to do that, it's going to radically change you, yes, in just a few hours. So we're going to do 4 very powerful NLP processes in this masterclass. And I'm going to talk about frame control as well, which is the most important element of being attractive to women. So without further ado, boys, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to cover the staircase visualization that helps you tap into your masculine energy. Then we're going to do something called timeline therapy for removing a harmful belief system. Now, you guys should have gotten an email where I asked you, think of one belief system. I'm not good enough. I'm too short. I'm too old. I'm unattractive. Whatever that belief system is, kind of get that ready in your mind, because we're going to remove that one, completely remove it from your subconscious. Then we're going to talk about frame control, and then we're going to do the trauma release visualization and how to 10x your self-esteem in 5 minutes. The same visualization, Marni, that made your partner Kristen cry when I did it that one time too. Remember that one?
Yeah, of course. I loved it.
Yeah. All right. So you guys ready to dive in? Drop a 1 in the chat if you are. All right. Awesome. I'm ready to dive in as well. So first, we're going to start with the staircase visualization. So to preface this, what many men don't realize is that women are attracted to you based on your masculinity. And being highly masculine means that you're highly internally validated. which basically means that your opinion of yourself is the only thing that matters to you, or mostly the only thing that matters to you, and other people's opinion of you doesn't matter that much. Part of the reason a lot of you guys have approach anxiety is because you care way too much about what she thinks of you, what other people think of you. And if a rejection happens, you like totally use it as a definition of your worth as a man. Well, when we get into highly internally validated, then we don't really care what happens with her. We just care about the effort, not the result. So did I go approach her? Did I try my best? Did I have the balls to go approach that girl? Yes, I did. I feel good about myself. I don't even care if she rejected me. So what we're going to do here is go into the subconscious mind. Now, this is a warm-up exercise for the real meat and potatoes, which is going to happen with timeline therapy as well as the trauma process. So we're going to kind of see what it's like to visualize, see what it's like to do these NLP visualizations. And so that you're not distracted, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video. And Marni, I'd suggest you can too. Maybe just put something over your video so that they're not distracted looking at us. And guys, you can turn off your video as well, just so that we're all kind of in a private space and we can really focus. So I'm going to go ahead and turn myself off here. All right, guys. So like I said, this staircase exercise is to get us into our masculine energy, to be internally validated. So to begin the process, I want you to just close your eyes, and I want you to remember nobody can see you right now. And I want you to feel the bottom of your feet. So if you were to simply focus on the bottom of your feet and kind of feel if there's a tingling down there, an energy field down there, some kind of sensation at the bottom of your feet, or maybe there's nothing at all and your simple attention is enough. Now, as we focus on the energy field that's at the bottom of our feet, we're going to slowly move it up past our ankles, past our knees, into our thighs, into our pelvis, and go ahead now and focus on your heart. As we're all sitting here focusing on our hearts, let's go ahead and send our hearts a silent thank you. Thank you, heart, for working so hard for me. You've been there since the day I was born, even before then, and have been working hard to keep my blood flowing and me alive for all these years. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now I want you to move your attention down your arms into your hands. Focus on the palms of your hands and see if you can feel a slight tingling sensation. Some of you may even have a visual representation of some kind of light coming out of your hands. So just focus on the palms of your hands for a few minutes, a few seconds, I should say. Now what I want you to do is imagine that there's a door in the room that you're sitting in to your right. Now, with your NLP visualization, I want you to pretend that you're standing up and walking over to that door. That's right. Just with your imagination, you're standing up, going to that door, and you open it. And you look inside and you see a staircase going down into what looks like a basement. A nice, cool, safe, dark basement. So what I want you to do is start walking down the steps, these wooden steps that are creaking as you go down. And I want you to walk down 5 steps, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps, and you get to a landing. And the stairs turn to the left, and there's another 10 steps. So now I want you to walk down those 10 steps, 11, 12, 13. And as you walk down, you see it's getting just a little darker. So you grab the railing and you hit another landing. Then you walk down another 10 steps that are to the left of those. And now you're going down 25 steps, 26, 27, all the way down to 30, and you hit another railing. And you go to the left and you go further down another 10 steps. 31, 32, 33, all the way down to 40. And sure enough, it turns to the left again. And now it's pitch black, but you feel safe. You're not scared. Everything is just fine. And you go down those other steps and you get to the bottom of those. And now you're down 50 steps deep. And now you see that on that landing, there's another 10 steps going down to your left. So you go down, it's completely pitch black, but you hold the railing, you feel safe, and you get down all the way to 60 steps. And now you look down even further, and yep, there's another 10 steps going down. So you go down to 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and stop. Now, if we go any further, we start getting into the deep, deep subconscious mind where Some people say you can control your heartbeat, you can control different functions, but we're going to come back up to step number 65. So come back up to that step, and now I'm giving you X-ray vision where you can see everything on that staircase, and you look and you see panels, not unlike electrical panels. And you see one panel that on the front, it says romance on it. It's typed in military font onto a white sticker that's stuck onto it. Now what I want you to do is open up that panel, and you see that the panel is switched all the way to the left. And there's another sticker just above that says externally validated. And you realize you are way too externally validated. And on the right of that switch, it says internally validated. So go ahead and grab that switch with your right hand and move it over 90% to the right. That's right, 90% to the right to internally validated. There you go, you've moved it over. Now go ahead and close that panel, push it so that it clicks, and now it is clicked shut. Now, just for the sake of doing it, since we're down here, let's do a few more. Some of you guys have issues with money, and I think all of us would like to be better with money. And one thing about money is that many of us are too externally validated. We care about what people think of us. We want to show off our money. We buy things just to show that we've been successful. So right next to the romance panel, there is a money panel. Go ahead and open that, and sure enough, many of us have it completely over to the left of being externally validated, meaning keeping up with the Joneses, caring what people think of us. So let's go ahead and flip that thing 90% over to internally validated. And since it's at 90%, we have 10% left over, which is like a 10% external check, because we still want to get opinions from the outside sources. We still want to slightly care, but not as much as most of us care about what women think of us, what our family thinks of us, friends, etc. So we've taken care of that money panel. Go ahead and shut it and lean on it so it clicks shut. Now you turn around and you look at the other wall, and there's all kinds of panels. And I want to ask you, what do you want to work on? Maybe your business, maybe sports, golf, soccer, baseball, whatever you're into. Go ahead and open that panel up. You know what to do. Flip it over from the left side of being externally validated to the right, a 90% internal validation with the 10% check. There you go. Go ahead and close it up. Now let's come back up those stairs. You're at stair 65, so grab the railing and feel your way upward to step 60. Now turn. Now you're going up from 60 up to 50. And now you're starting to jog because you feel really good. And as you hold on to the railing, you can just feel those steps below you. And your X-ray vision, you're able to see the steps. So you're bounding up them with much speed. Now you're going through staircase 40 through 30, 30 through 20. You're bounding up quickly, 20 to 10. And the last 10 steps, you literally jump all the way up until you reach that door. Now what I want you to do is go ahead and come back and step into your body. And this finishes the staircase visualization. All right, so how'd that make you feel, guys? Drop a comment in the chat. Probably many of you have felt relaxed. Marni, can't see you. Did you do it, Marni? Tell us how you felt.
I felt good. I always feel good when I do any of these.
Marni, congratulations. You are now highly masculine.
I feel like I could get women very easily now. So everybody else is saying amazing, confident, sounds good, great, vibrant, very centered, relaxed, empowered. Whoa, hypnotized. All right.
Awesome, boys. Thank you so much. And that was just a warm up. The real magic happens now. This is my favorite one. This is actually about one of my 5 favorite ones. And I don't know if some of you may know, I have a 3-month coaching program, and I customize a custom 3-month NLP protocol for all my clients. So I have a lot more of these that are just absolutely phenomenal. They've completely changed my life as well as the life of my clients. But timeline process to remove a negative belief system is unbelievably powerful. So we are going to jump into that now. So first of all, boys, what I want you to do is think of the belief that we chose before we started this program. Okay, some of you have a belief I'm not good enough, I'm not attractive to women. I'm too short, too fat, too bald, too whatever. Sex is wrong. You shouldn't bother people. Don't inconvenience women. All these belief systems that you guys have. So pick that one that really stands out to you and makes you feel pretty crummy. And the way we know it makes us feel crummy is it's going to be the first one that jumps out. You know which one it is. Use your intuition. But here's what I want you to do is think of that belief and see if there's a gross corresponding feeling inside your body. Okay, so for I'm not enough, which I'd say probably 60% of you guys chose. Okay, I'm not enough. When you think that, do you feel a tightness in your chest, a cloudiness in your head, tingling in your hands, and maybe you might see a color, red or black, just a crappy feeling. So what I want you to do is simply kind of just focus on that feeling for the next few seconds, see where it's at, recognize it, don't fight it, don't be anti-feeling, just accept it. Accept it as if you chose it. Okay, now let it go, step away from it. I just want you to know that it's there, and I want you to be familiar with how it feels, because we are going to remove it right now. All right, guys, go ahead and close your eyes once again, please. First of all, I want to ask you, and I want you to answer me in your own head. Are you ready to remove this belief? Good. Secondly, do you trust me to take you through this process to help you remove this belief with this healing modality called timeline process? Good. All right, now what I want you to do is just like we did with the staircase, but we're going to go through it a bit quicker since you guys are warmed up. Just kind of feel the bottom of your feet again. Move that energy up your knees, past your pelvis into your heart. Let's say thank you again to our hearts. And let's go ahead and feel that energy move down our arms into the palms of our hands. And as you feel the palms of your hands, I want you to pretend that the soul part of you is floating up out of your body. There you go. Float up to the ceiling. Turn around and look down and see yourself where you're sitting right now. A lot of you guys are sitting in your office chairs. Some of you are sitting in your bed, on a couch, in your car, wherever you happen to be. Just kind of observe yourself. And if you are in a car, you can see through the ceiling yourself sitting there. Notice what you're wearing, your posture. Some of you are wearing a certain shirt, kind of notice that. And as you look at yourself, I want you to now lift up even further. I want you to zoom up to 800 feet above your home, your car, wherever you happen to be, and turn around and look down, and you can see with your vision through the ceiling, you can see yourself sitting there wherever you happen to be. And now you're going to take a look around the town. You're going to see the cars, the trees, rivers, streets, houses, buildings, whatever you happen to see. Now, as you look down, you notice that there's a long, narrow road extending out from where you are now. So if you are in your office chair, you see from your vantage point 800 feet above that there's a long, narrow road extending out from you. It goes all the way to the day that you were born and extends all the way out to the day that you die. And you are on the present moment of now on your timeline. This is your life. This is the entirety of what has happened in your life and will happen in your life. And it represents everything painful, joyous, hateful, loving, everything that you've ever experienced and will experience is on this timeline. Now, what I want you to do is float higher. You float 1 mile up, 2 miles up, 3 miles up. And as you go, it's almost like one of those Google images where the country is panning out and you see it getting smaller and smaller, and you see your timeline getting smaller and smaller. And as you go up, you can feel that weightlessness in your chest. You can feel the wind rushing through your hair and the blood getting pulled down from your head into your feet. And you go 9 miles up, 10 miles up, 11 miles up, and you're flying like Superman up higher and higher until you reach 20 miles up into the stratosphere and you stop. And as you look down, you notice what a clear day it is, and you see all the way down into your country, into your state, into your city, into your home. And you see just a tiny timeline, a quarter of an inch long, that's down there on the earth. And you know that on that timeline somewhere, there's that installation of that first belief. So some of you have had the belief, I'm not enough. It's down there on the timeline, and you know it. Somewhere the first time that belief was given to you, probably by your parents, siblings, teachers, coaches, whoever it was given to you before you could defend yourself, probably when you were quite young, usually before 7, mostly before 3, and almost always before 2. This happened super early in your life and you're aware of it. You don't have to know what happened and stop trying to think about what happened. What was it that gave me this? You probably don't know and you don't have to know. So as you know that that initial installation of that belief system is down there on your timeline, I want you to start falling. You are 20 miles up, 19, 18, 17. And as you fall, you can feel that weightlessness, that wind in your hair, like you're skydiving. 16, and you're going down and down and down, and you're going down and back along your timeline, going backwards through time as you fall. And as you fall, you're more aware of the first installation of this belief system, and you're 15 miles up, 14 miles up, 13, 12, 11, 10. Are you listening to me? Good. 9 miles up, 8. And as you fall, you notice that first incident. You don't know what happened, but there it is all the way early on your timeline. And just to make sure that you're not trying to figure out what happened, we're putting a blanket, a gray blanket over that first occurrence of this limiting belief system. And you're falling down and down, 7 miles up, 6, 5. And when I arrive to 1, you are simply going to choose to arrive there to the first time you got this belief system. Here we go. You are 5 miles up, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are there. If some of you, you're like, am I there? I don't know if I'm there. If that's the case, then look down your timeline into the past, because remember, we're going for the first time this was installed. Look towards the moment you were born, and if it's there, go to it now. For most of you, you are already there. And if you still haven't gone there, decide right now, I am there. The first time this installation happened, the first time I got this belief, the very, very first time, I am there and I'm floating above it, 5 feet above it, and there's a gray blanket over it. Now we understand that the installation of this belief was extremely painful, and there's a huge gestalt of negative emotions underneath that blanket. Emotions like anger, jealousy, sadness, depression, guilt, embarrassment. All these emotions are under that blanket. So what I want you to do is I want you to take 10 seconds and just identify some of those emotions and feel what it feels like and list off just in your own mind the predominant negative emotions that you feel. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Good. Now we also understand, and tell me in your mind if you agree with me, that no matter what bad things happen, there's always something good that comes from it, right? Anything that happened in your life was bad. There's always something that good that comes from it. Well, underneath that blanket are a bunch of lessons, a bunch of positive things that you failed to collect at that time. They were left back there in your past. So what we're going to do is with our NLP imagination is we're just going to imagine those things such as joy, peace, enthusiasm, of truth, forgiveness as little presents, little gift wrapped packages that are underneath that blanket. And we're going to imagine those gift wrap packages floating up into our mind, organized in the library of our subconscious mind. And we're going to allow them to do that now. So with your imagination, I want you to imagine all these little gift wrap packages, different sizes like Christmas and birthday presents coming up and going into your head and just uploading all these things: joy, peace, enthusiasm, love, truth, forgiveness. All these beautiful things are being uploaded into the library of your subconscious mind. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do that. Go ahead and start now. Good. Now what I want you to do is I want you to float down to that gray blanket, grab it and throw it to the side. And you'll see that under that blanket is that gestalt, that cluster of negative emotions, and it's represented by a physical object. Many of you guys will imagine a black bowling ball, perhaps a mace, which is like a bowling ball with spikes on it, maybe a ball of snakes, or something more archetypal that represents the trauma itself. such as a knife, a gun, or anything similar that represents that trauma. So as we look at that gestalt, we know that we're about to remove it, and we are about to remove it completely and forever. So now imagine me, Mark Singh, handing you a titanium NLP shovel. What I want you to do is float down to that gestalt, to that cluster of negative emotions that's represented by a physical object. Stick the shovel underneath it, step on the shovel, lean back, and pop that gestalt out of your timeline. You'll see that gestalt pop out of your timeline and float up to about 800 feet and boom, explode like a gigantic bomb. And as it explodes, it makes a big firework and sizzles down, and you can hear the sizzling and you can feel the shrapnel landing around you. Now, as you look up your timeline back to the present moment, you'll see that there's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of similar gestalts all lined up your timeline, just embedded in your timeline. All the times, brother, that you had this negative belief about yourself affect you in a negative way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to float above our timeline, dragging our shovel through the timeline, popping out each and every single one of those gestalts. And as they pop out, you hear it in your ears go. And as they pop out, they float up one by one, and each of them goes boom, 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 creating gigantic fireworks above and behind you as you float, sizzling and coming down all around you as the shrapnel. So as you go, it's like unzipping all these black balls or balls of snakes out of your timeline, popping them out. And as you float, they're just coming out one by one by one by one, and you're going faster and faster, popping them out. And it's such a speed that you can feel the wind in your hair and the exhaltation of finally removing this self-limiting belief. And I want you to remove every single one of those gestalts from your timeline until you arrive back to the present moment on your timeline. Now what I want you to do is float up about 800 feet, turn around and look back and see if you missed any. If you did, hurry over there and pop the ones out that you missed. Or some of you might want to do another run through from the day that you were born all the way to today. Go ahead and run through it at lightning speed and pop them all out of your timeline. There you go. Some of you may even want to grab your timeline like you're grabbing a sheet on a table and whip it real quick and see all those gestalts get whipped out and explode above it. Wait until it's clear. There you go. It's completely clear, free of the gestalts. And now we're at the present moment and we look out to the future. As we look out to the future, it's the same thing. We see hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of these gestalts in our timeline. And we're going to float above our timeline, dragging our shovel through the timeline, popping out each and every single one of those gestalts. As they float up, each of them explodes, exploding above and behind us as we float. The exaltation, the joy of finally removing this thing that has been limiting you, keeping you in your rut for years, probably longer than you can remember. You are removing all of them all the way out to the day that you die, which for some of you may be represented as a flash of light or perhaps a tunnel. Now float up about 800 feet, scan your future. Some of you may want to run through it again real quick and just make sure that it's completely, utterly clean, smooth, and healed. Now with that done, I want you to float back into your body as you're sitting here right now. And I want you to imagine a pink elephant on a skateboard approaching a ramp, hits the ramp, backflip, lands it, and skates off like a champion. And this ends timeline therapy.
So can I ask a question?
Please, Marni.
Okay, so I love all of this. Before we dive into the next one, can we, and maybe this is just me being totally clueless, can we give a little explanation about why these have impact, how these help with confidence? Because I obviously, I'm sitting here, I'm doing these and I feel great, but then I'm going to leave this class afterwards, right? So how do people use these, and why is it helping them long term? Like,
Sure.
is this, yeah.
Sure. Before I ask that, boys, I want to keep you in state for a minute. So before I ask that, remember how you felt before we started the process, and this is going to help to answer your question, Marni. Remember how you felt that crappy feeling in your chest? I want you to think of that same belief system that we started with. I'm not enough. I'm too short, too ugly, too bald. Try to feel that same feeling. Just try. I'd say over 90% of you can't feel it anymore because it's been removed from your subconscious mind. So the question you asked, Marni, is how does this work? Well, that would require 6 master classes to explain all that. But essentially, the reason it's important that we do this is because there's belief systems in our head that dictate how we behave, specifically with women, right? If I have a belief system I'm not enough, my body language is going to telegraph I don't think I'm enough, and her attraction is based on that. Women are like little radar systems that can detect exactly what's going on inside your head. So I'm not enough, I'm too short, I'm too bald, she's too good for me, she'd be better with another guy, oh, what are people going to think of me? All this bullshit is making you act differently in front of women.
Right.
So when we remove it with these protocols, and that's simply what we did, is removed it, because belief systems, Marni, is BS. Belief system, BS. It's bullshit. It's an illusion that somebody gave you. Somebody went to Nick, who's in this course, and said, "Hey Nick, you're a dork," when he was like 3 years old. Like, you're not cool. And he's like, "Okay, I'm not cool." And then for the rest of his life, he's pressing print on a printer that's reproducing that, because that's the installed programming, or what as we call meta programming in NLP. So that process removes it with embedded commands, some subtle hypnotism techniques that get into the subconscious mind and remove it. And it's extremely effective. And at the end of this masterclass, we're going to replace it with confidence. Does that answer your question, Marni?
It does. Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, I'd love for guys to drop a comment in the chat about how did this visualization make you feel? Because I want to hear how this has affected you.
Me too. I'm
Yeah.
not seeing the chats, Marni, so if you can read them.
Okay, yeah. So for sure. So Dennis said, first it was painful, and then it felt like a release. It went from feeling nasty to feeling comfortable. Jason said that. And then Jay Holt wrote, I would guess do it as many times as you need with whatever belief systems that show up. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. So in my program, what we do is we identify a myriad of them. And over the 3 months, I'm assigning different protocols. This process, timeline therapy, isn't the only one that can remove belief systems.
Yeah.
There's specific ones that are better for specific issues. So we're hitting them from all sides, but you're absolutely right, brother. If you have a belief system that's negative, keep this, man. You're getting a recording of it. Use this shit because it's really effective. It changed my life. I used to be agoraphobic, panic attacks, just hideously skinny because I had so much anxiety. And through NLP, I feel it saved my life, and it allowed me to be confident, super successful with women. And now I'm a coach of it because I believe in it so much.
I love it. So guys are saying limiting beliefs, gone, replaced with positive. And then actually one person, Jason, said, where do we get more info on your program?
All right, Jason, let's do this.
Yes.
I'll tell you that at the end, yo. I don't want to be Mr. Salesman right now. I want to actually try to help you guys.
We've got a whole bunch of protocols to go through with you guys. So if you think you feel amazing now, just imagine how you're going to feel in 1 hour from now.
Yeah. We got a few more to go. And what time is it now, Marni? It's 5:43. We're about on time. So I have a little schedule I made here, and we're keeping to it pretty well. So what we're going to do now, boys, is a pattern interrupt. I want to kind of take you out of that meditative state for a minute and kind of talk to you logically about an element of seduction called frame control. How many of you guys, drop a 1 in the chat box if you've heard of this, drop a 2 if you haven't. And Marni, dude, I can't even see the chat box. So if you could report what they're saying. Okay, 1, you've heard of it, frame control. 2, you haven't.
I'm on mute. About half, I would say. If you press the chat button at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to see all the comments.
Yeah, it's funny because I use I use Zoom all the time for my coaching. I'm not even seeing a chat button on my end. So struggling with the old Zoom today, but it's okay. About half of you guys have heard it. Guys, I'm so excited to share this with you because this is the most important thing about attracting women. Okay. If you get this right, your results are going to 10x possibly if you were not doing this correct before, and now you understand how to do it. So let's jump into it. Marni, you good?
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, cool. So guys, frame control means that in any interaction, there's always one person who's controlling the frame and there's another person who's following the frame. Okay, so when we're talking to anybody, somebody has a stronger social presence than the other person and they're leading the interaction. For example, you and your professor is leading the interaction. You and a police officer, the police officer is leading the interaction. You and your subordinates in your work, you're leading the interaction. You and a woman, whoever's leading the interaction is controlling the frame. So when it comes to women, she cannot become attracted to you unless you have a stronger frame than she does. And I really want to reiterate that because some of you guys, like, I've never heard of this before. She cannot become attracted to you unless you have a stronger frame than she does. So your interpretation of reality, your ability to lead the conversation is everything when it comes to attraction. If she determines that she has a stronger frame than you, she's not going to be attracted to you and she will not have sex with you. So when she's talking to you, she's subconsciously determining what's this guy's frame? Is he leading this conversation? Does he strong in his reality? Does he believe in himself? Or does he have belief systems like I'm not enough, I'm too fat, short, bald, ugly, and he's supplicating to me, putting me on a pedestal, and I'm not going to get attracted to him? This was probably the most important thing I ever learned. And I have done a deep dive, and this is just, oh my hell, this thing, man, it's driving me nuts. This masterclass is going awesome, except for this freaking PowerPoint. But I'm not going to let it get into my frame, and we're going to actually talk about that. Why frame control is important in this very example, which is happening to me. Okay, so most guys look at women as something they need to build rapport with, right? We were taught as kids, how do I become friends with somebody? How do I get somebody to like me? Do them favors, build rapport with them, tell them how awesome they are, just put them on a pedestal. But with attraction, it doesn't work that way. A person who they need to get to like them, that kind of vibe is going to push her away from you. And you guys have all seen it. We've all been in the friend zone, right? You do her favors, you're super nice, you're there for her no matter what, give her what she wants all the time, put her on a pedestal, and then what happens? She goes and sleeps with the asshole next door. Why is that? If I can get this. Okay. Okay, so for example, this is a perfect example. She brings up something negative and you feel it's going to ruin the conversational flow. It's your job as the man to switch topics and control the conversation. Okay, because if she brings up boring shit and you run with it, she's going to blame you for boring her. If she brings up boring stuff, she's like, oh my God, Donald Trump is such a jerk. And you're like, yeah, the presidential election, da da da. And you guys sit there talking about the presidential election for 20 minutes. She is going to lose all attraction for you because she blames you for bringing her into bad conversational topics, which she brought up. So it's your job to be like, yeah, like the presidential election. Anyway, did you see the thing outside? Oh my God, this thing happened. And then you steer the conversation, lead the conversation into a different direction that elicits emotions. And this is called frame control, right? Frame control is specifically there to elicit those positive emotions in a woman by leading her to where she wants to be led. Leading her to where she wants to be led is the essence of frame control. So think about it, guys. We don't respect people who can't control the frame. It's like the teacher we've all had who was afraid of their class, right? Then the class totally takes over the classroom. When you give away the frame to other people, they step all over you, including women. So frame control is absolutely paramount. Okay, so how do we communicate that we're controlling the frame? Okay, Marni, when I saw this slide, like Marni's guy put this slide together and I was like, yo, this is a sketchy slide. So I'm going to explain it, boys. Just let me get through it. Okay. What you want to do is you want to talk to women like they're a 12-year-old girl on your soccer team and you're the soccer coach. Okay. This isn't condescending. What it simply points to is the fact that when you speak to women, your voice goes down at the end rather than up at the end. Okay. So see the difference here. Cop walks up to your window and he's like, license and registration, please. Do you respect that cop? Do you feel that he has authority? No. And that's why when most cops go up to your window, they say license and registration, please. Goes down at the end. So this analogy of talk to women like they're a 12-year-old girl on your soccer team, it sounds condescending, but it's not. It's simply to get you in that downward inflection that communicates authority, communicates that you are leading the interaction. And this is a huge problem with guys. I'll listen to guys. Like I used to go out in the field a lot, Marni, and train guys in like nightclubs and stuff. And I'd listen to them. They'd be talking to me normally. The second they speak to a woman, they'd be like, "Hi, Marni, how are you today?" And you're just like, ew, gross, because it communicates a weak frame. A strong frame is communicated by that downward inflection. So the way you'd say it is basically, "Hey, what's up, Kelly? Great goal there. High five. Good job. Go ahead and round up the girls. Bring them over. We're going to do some more drills." All right. So you see how my voice is, it's authoritative. And all you guys have been in authoritative positions. Some of you guys are bosses. Some of you guys are like leaders in your hobbies. Some of you guys have kids, right? Think about how you speak to those people. And that's the way you want to generally speak to women, not condescending. I have to reiterate that. Like, this is not condescending towards women. Women are definitely equal and in many ways better than us. But when it comes to a sexual interaction, you have to be in the masculine. She has to be in the feminine. Therefore, you have to lead her to where she wants to be led. It's not lead her to where she doesn't want to be led. You lead her to where she wants to be led. Okay, I can do this. It's like, dude, Marni, I touch it and it's like, ring.
You have magic fingers, I think.
That's what she said.
Exactly.
All right. Oh my hell. Okay, so guys, like, you want to make girls feel like you're going to show them a good time. Like they don't have to worry about a single thing. Like you're going to lead them to where they want to be led on an adventure, and they're going to have a wonderful time. It's like that guy we all knew in high school who had the cool car. We would go listen to music with him. We would go eat Arby's and just have a great time. And like we were absorbed into his reality. That's what we want to do with women. When you can take women underneath your wing and say, "Don't worry, little girl, I got this. We're going to have a great time. Come on." And she gets absorbed into your reality. You're controlling the frame, leading her to where she wants to be led, and giving her that experience that's going to turn her on. When you say to her, on the other hand, "What do you want to do now? Are you having fun? Like, where do you want to go next?" It turns them off because it's showing that you don't have faith in your ability to lead. And women are attracted to leaders. Okay, now we talk about reaction. The person who's reacting more is the person who is not controlling the frame. We want girls reacting more to us than we're reacting to them. So in an interaction with the girl, we want her laughing harder. We want her like hitting you on the arm, and you're kind of more composed, which shows that you're on what I call your inner balance point, and you're not like affected by her and her reality. You're affected by your own reality because you're internally validated, right? Highly internally validated. What she does doesn't matter a ton to you. You're cognizant of it, but you're not like reacting to her like so many guys do. Like you'll see guys talking to girls and they're leaning in and they have a big ear to ear smile and it's like the best thing that ever happened to them. That communicates that it's really important that the interaction goes well, and that's unattractive because they're not even in control of their own emotions. So how are they going to protect her, preside over her, provide to her if they have a family together? And which is what attraction is based on. Almost had it that time. Boom. Oh, okay. Never explain yourself. That's the one I'm trying to get to. So if she questions you, like, for example, "Why do you work all the time? Why are you wearing that shirt?" You have to act like it's literally funny to you, right? You're so convinced in your own mind that you're a champion, you're doing what's right, that whatever she says to you is like irrelevant. It's like a Spartan, okay? A Spartan soldier sitting there after war. He's all bloody. He's all like just masculine. And a little 3-year-old girl comes over and says, "Your helmet's stupid." Do you think he'd be like, "Oh, no, it's not. This helmet's badass. Like it's bronze." He would like laugh. He'd be like, "Ha." Right? So when like a woman challenges you and you're just like, "Dude, whatever," and you laugh as if she complimented you, that shows a strong frame. And what's cool is I'm going to show you some reversals on the typical things that women challenge us with, okay? Because women need to test your frame, and they're very good at doing that. They're little Jedi masters, and that's why I love them. Okay, so there's one above this. Okay, so when it comes to rejection, rejection is what we call a social pressure. Okay, so when a girl rejects you, you get that crappy feeling in your chest, and it's what is basically social pressure. Your frame is your ability to endure social pressure. So if I go up to a hot girl and I'm completely normal, I'm unaffected by her hotness, it's no big deal, just like this PowerPoint going crazy on me. Do you see me getting all mad and being like, "Marni, you idiot, like what are you doing? Like why'd you give me this PowerPoint?" No, I'm like, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. That shows that you have a strong sense of ability to take pressure. because there's pressure on me. There's whatever 100 guys in here,
Yeah.
right? Like there's pressure on me. So my ability to stay calm under pressure, on my inner balance point, not caring if I get rejected, shows an extremely strong frame, and we actually seek out social pressure. So in my program, I have my guys, I don't want my guys to get rejected. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. What I do is I have them challenge themselves, where they do little things that are socially awkward or socially weird. And what happens is the more they go into that, the more comfortable they are with that social pressure, so that when they talk to a girl, it's like no big deal. Like, girl, I was just doing this thing that Mark Singh gave me, talking to you. It's like, whatever. And then you can control the frame. You're not reactive. You're not spazzing out. You're completely calm. Just like I'm trying to stay with this whole slide debacle. Marni, thoughts on that?
Yes, my thoughts are that I feel horrible that it's not working for you properly. No, but
Not your fault.
my thoughts on that overall is that you're 100% correct. It's like you're literally programming yourself every single day. If you stay in a safe bubble, right, anything that is jarring is going to shake you up. But if you continuously take little bits of things that put some pressure on your body, put pressure on your nervous system, and you can learn to remain calm, then you can gradually, you know, just like vaccines, that's sort of how it works. It's like over time, sorry, not to bring up political stuff, but like that's just how it works over time. Your body gets more accustomed to it, and it can handle the pressure that it's being given.
Yep. So a simple thing like you guys could try is, like, next time you're in the supermarket, just whistle a song to yourself. That's slightly socially unacceptable, right? To like be whistling a song to yourself as you're doing your shopping, like.
But it's awesome.
But it allows you to take social pressure, because you're like, dude, I really shouldn't be doing this, right? To get extreme, like the gnarliest things we do, just so you know, and I don't make my guys do this, it's suggested, okay, is if you want to seriously ramp up your ability to take social pressure, go to Walmart, Target, any grocery store, a food court, lay down in the middle of an aisle where there's tons of people walking by for 2 minutes. Just lay down. Just lay down. And if somebody comes and asks you what's wrong, you say, I'm just tired, just taking a break. And that ability to take that social pressure translates into women. Boys, believe me, it does. So you, by laying down for 2 minutes, and again, I don't make my guys do this. I just say, hey, you want to flex up? You want to challenge yourself? Go do this. And my guys will do it, Marni, and they'll record it and they'll put it on the Brotherhood Facebook group. And then they're all like challenging each other. It's awesome to be able to endure that social pressure. And then when you talk to a girl, you're like, dude, I was just laying in Target I had one guy, Marni, he laid in the self-checkout area.
I love that. I used to do that. That's how I built up my confidence when I was younger. I gave myself like a checklist of items that I had to do before I was able to go home. I had to go out. I had to curtsy in front of somebody, like do little things that I found funny that I was uncomfortable with. And then it was just so wonderful to see other people's expressions when I would do things, because secretly they're wishing like, fuck, I wish I could do that. Or I wish I was that damn confident enough to lie on the floor at Target, to curtsy to a stranger, to, you know, bark like an animal in the middle of, like all of these things that we're taught not to do, that suddenly you're doing. You think that it's going to insult people or turn people off, but in fact, it makes them a little bit envious of you, because you can be
Yeah. And they don't care. Nobody's going to say anything to you. They're all so afraid of social pressure that they're not going to come over and get involved with you. So they just look at you and they're like, oh, and they like go away. And you're like, man, these people are weak, dude. I'll like do whatever. I don't care. And then what does that do? It makes you insanely attractive to women, because you're not affected by social pressure. All right.
And you're not like Herd as well, who just follows suit.
Yeah. All right, so an element of not controlling the frame is being affected by her hotness. We've all experienced it when we've seen a hot girl. We get flustered, we can't think straight, we're off our balance point. When we're like that, we're not controlling the frame. That's why really, really hot girls have a lot of gay friends. Gay guys are literally the only ones that can be normal around them. Gay guys and you can be normal around them. So just being normal, calm, unaffected around girls is a huge sign of frame control. And you're just comfortable with yourself, and their hotness is like, okay, you got one check mark off a box of 10 check marks. Are you a great person? Are you funny? Are you ambitious? Are you working on yourself? Like, what else do you got? Just because you're hot, you didn't win the game with me. And that's what's communicated by not being so like nerd mannerisms in front of girls. Okay, so boys, what's your biggest takeaway from what I shared?
Yeah, I want to hear the takeaways as well, because you shared a lot of information. So Jason said, control the frame, which is wonderful. a little bit more information, Jason, on what you learned, but control the frame is great. Seek discomfort, not rapport. Don't give a shit, which is pretty much what I heard you saying the entire time. Don't give a shit and enjoy your life and have fun. Keep your reality more important than anyone else's. I think controlling yourself is what allows you to control the frame. Don't be affected by her. Challenging yourself to accept pressure leads to improved confidence. Yes. Just spent over a decade running a gay bar. Literally, this is the skill set I had to learn to succeed in the business.
Gay bar. Yeah.
Drop your ambitions and enjoy. Learning how to feel more confident. Keep controlled. Love it. Love all of it.
Controlled. Yeah. Keep controlled. Relax, dude. Like, take it easy. Like, in a fight between two guys, the guy who's getting the angriest is losing. Yeah. Right? Guy who's like, oh, and you're just like, relax, bro. Drop it down a gear. Like, I do that to dudes all the time. And then I just frame controlled them. And the girl who's watching this gets attracted to me. Go ahead, Marni.
Oh, sorry. I was just waving to Adam's photo, but I was going to say, can you speak a little bit about the word control? Because I like, when some people in the comments that they were saying, I don't want people to think that they're like punishing themselves or they're shameful for feeling otherwise. So like when you take that control, I'm not really sure what I'm asking right now, but
I think I know what you're asking. So let me,
the negativity potentially around that word.
Okay. So this can be oftentimes, is Adam Skoda here? Is that what I just heard you say?
Yeah.
What's up, Adam? Great to have you, brother. He's been through my program, so I appreciate you coming, man. Really love you, brother. Fucking champion. That guy right there, dude. Talk about champion. So anyway, when there's negativity behind it, you've lost control of the frame. See, controlling the frame means being empathetic with the other person and actually acting from love, if we really boil it down to its base core emotion. So being affected, being reactive, getting angry, these are all derivative of not controlling the frame. So we could be stubborn and be like, no, I'm gonna do this. But that whole energy of you trying to be stubborn is actually giving the other person the frame. Now, this gets into some subtleties here, but that's how it works, is that frame control is you're so secure in yourself that really, in essence, controlling the frame is not even needing to control the frame, if that makes sense. Like, okay, you want to go ahead and have it? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, right? And it's that kind of self-confidence that is translated. And we get into a deep dive in my program, but with the time we have here, we just had to do a surface explanation of it.
No, that was perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so getting pissed, boys, and this is exactly what I was just talking about, right? If you get pissed, like a girl says a mean thing to you and you get pissed off, you get emotional, she will immediately lose all attraction for you because she senses unconsciously, and women pick up on this, that you're being affected by her. So frame control is not getting angry. It's simply setting boundaries. And we're about to get into the really cool part of this lesson, my favorite stuff, which is frame control reversals. What's awesome about female psychology is they do this stuff unconsciously. They don't even know why it's happening. Women don't rationally understand what emotionally attracts them. And when we say, do these things, we say, they're going to be mean to you. They're going to test you. They're going to say effed up shit to you. And if you get angry, she just got into your frame. So what we have is frame control reversals. All right. So frame control reversals are ways that we flip the frame on her. Okay. So when you're speaking to anybody, if they throw a challenge at you and you're able to flip it on them, like politicians do, right? Flip it on them, then you can win the frame control battle. So she's going to say effed up stuff to you. And one of the ways to do this is to agree and amplify. Okay, so you agree to whatever she's saying and exaggerate it and make it funny. So you're making her laugh. Okay. Girl says that you have a big nose, which happens to me sometimes. Check out my schnoz. It's pretty big. Okay, so you can respond with, I know, I love my nose. I can smell the coffee of my next door neighbor's house every morning. It's awesome. Okay, so what you've done is you've agreed with what she said. You made it 100 times worse, and now she's laughing. Okay, for example, she's like, hey, you're gay. You're gay, aren't you? And you're like, I'm so gay. I sucked 200 dicks yesterday. And my jaw is killing me. My jaw is killing me. So you amplify it, and that shows that you're unaffected by it. It doesn't matter to you. Okay, the next one. The real question is, boys, tattoo this on your forehead. I use this all the time with women. It is absolutely a superpower, okay? So you respond to her challenging questions with one of your own. And this is called giving it back to her, flipping the tables. Okay, so she's like, you're a player, aren't you? I see you talking to all those girls, which happens to me all the time, Marni. You're a player, aren't you? I'd say the real question is, you're a player, aren't you? I see you talking to all those guys, getting all those phone numbers, little Miss Casanova over here. Your phone is so full of phone numbers. Okay, she's like, why don't you have a girlfriend, Brian Hamilton? Why don't you have a girlfriend? I just see Brian Hamilton, so that's why I'm saying your name, buddy. Why don't you have a girlfriend? Say the real question is, why don't you have a boyfriend? It's probably because you're a bad kisser, huh? Okay. I went up to a girl, Marni, this weekend. She's like, is this one of your pickup lines? I was like, the real question is that one of your lines? Is that what you read in the little girly books to say to a guy who approaches you?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's not. And I won the frame because she throws it at me. I throw it back at her. I win, right? Anytime a woman explains herself or anybody explains themselves to you, you've won that frame control battle. Third way to do this, and again, you guys are getting this PowerPoint so you can study this later, is to misinterpret. One of my favorites. Take her challenging questions and spin it in a playful / sexual way. Example, why don't you have a girlfriend? Look, Sarah, I know you're trying to be my girlfriend right now, but we just met 5 minutes ago. Relax. My favorite one, Marni, and I can say this to Brian Hamilton. Brian Hamilton, why are you wearing that shirt, man? That shirt looks, that shirt's crazy. You say to me, Brian, hey, Mark, I know you're trying to take off my shirt right now, but we just relax. Just relax, bro. We just met. Stop trying to get me naked. Stop trying to get me naked. Exactly, Brian. So she challenges you in your clothes. You're trying to get me undressed. She challenges you on, why don't you have a girlfriend? I know you're trying to be my girlfriend. It's misinterpreting what she said. Awesome frame control reversal. And number 4, completely ignore it. She says, oh my God, that shirt you're wearing is so hideous. Be like, so anyway, where are you from? Where are you guys coming from tonight? Completely ignore it and steer it in a new direction is frame control because you're a politician. Any question that comes in you don't want to answer, you just don't hear it and you move on to what you do want to talk about. Frame control is really powerful and we do a deep dive on it. All right, the hoop theory. I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys, but I got a lot to teach, lots of good stuff. So the hoop theory is one of my favorite things. Okay, women will ask you for favors. We've all been there where women ask us favors. Can you get me a napkin from the bar? Will you buy me a drink? Will you come help me move with your truck? I'm moving apartments. Can you please come help me move? And most guys are like, oh yeah, I'll help you move. And then they end up in the friend zone. Okay, why is that? Is because she's turning you into a lapdog and you're not showing her that your favors must be earned. So if you immediately respond to her favor, then she might lose a little bit of respect for you. But if you say, no, you're an asshole. She's like, can you get me a napkin from the bar? You're like, no, which I'll sometimes do, but there's a better way. So the best way to deal with this is make her do a little favor for you first. And then you can do the favor that she asked you. Okay, I hear this all the time. Can you get me a napkin from the bar? In her sexy, angelic voice. And you're like, yeah, for sure. Ask me in an Australian accent. She's like, what? Be like, ask me in an Australian accent. And she's like, oh, okay. Right, can you get me a napkin from the bar? And you're like, right away, ma'am. Like a boomerang, I'll be right back to you. Then you go get the napkin, give it to her. Your favor is earned. And all you guys are champions. You're alpha males. You're unapologetic men. And you show this by showing her that your favor must be earned. She's like, hey, can you please help me move? Okay. You're like, for sure. But I want to be taken to Morton's Steakhouse afterwards and probably 2 times. So we'll go this Friday and then like in a couple of weeks, we'll go again. Cool. So you can do women favors, but your favor must be earned. And it's just that simple. And that's the way it works. All right. Where am I here? Okay. What's your biggest takeaway from what I just shared?
I love all of this. Oh my God, there was so much information. So flip the challenge on her is what Jason said. Don't try to fix her issues is what Jim said. Mark's the man.
You're the man.
Jim,
Who said that?
Who said that? Eric said Mark's the man. Learning frame control is a difference maker.
Eric, I'm going to get your name tattooed right here, bro. Eric.
Ignoring it. Brian Hamilton bantering. Bruno UK said, love it. Favor earned. Looks like I'll be eating at Morton's Steakhouse. I love that. This is like useful frame control concepts. Get a lot more out of this than red pill YouTube. Way more.
Oh, totally. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
This is awesome. Learning to flip from Dennis. These are all, I'm glad you guys are paying attention. This is exactly what Mark's trying to get through to you.
Yep. All right, brothers. So that ends frame control. Look, if you don't end up working with me or anything, check out my podcast. It's called the Unapologetic Man Podcast. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes. I go into this stuff on a very deep level. You could just type Mark Singh frame control and you can find anything on this stuff. And like I know these presentations are trying to like get you into the coaching program, and I'd love to meet with you guys, but honestly, like I want you to feel good about it. I want you to get value from me first. And that podcast has a cult-like following. It's in the top 1% worldwide out of millions of other podcasts, and I give tons of great information that's succinct, funny, and straight to the point. So check that out, man. If anything at all, please check that out. It's really good stuff. Okay, so now we're going to do the trauma release visualization. So this visualization, boys, is part of that email where Marni and I emailed you asking to create a short movie clip of a trauma that happened to you. Now, if you didn't get that email or you didn't do that, what we can do is quickly think of a trauma. Okay, a trauma is somebody close to you died, a girl rejected you really badly. When you were a kid in Cub Scouts, you were ostracized, physical, verbal, or sexual abuse of any kind. And what we want to do is create a short movie clip of that associated trauma. And that short movie clip needs to start at a place where you were safe before the trauma happened. Then the trauma happens, and then it ends at a place where you were safe after the trauma happened. Okay, so we have a short movie clip. Maybe if you were to sit there and visualize in that movie clip, it should be about 10 seconds. Okay, it's just a very quick thing. So I've done this on many different issues that I've had. Something you boys may not know about me is I had massive agoraphobia, panic attacks, and I had a massive, massive phobia of needles because I was held down as a kid when I was 10 years old and taken blood out of me because my dad died and there were some psychological issues. So I had 3 nurses hold me down and take blood from me. From that day forward, I had a massive phobia of needles. So I couldn't get tattoos. I couldn't get blood taken. I was horrifically afraid of needles. I did this one process that I'm about to do for you guys. My fear of needles was completely gone. And just a few months later, I've had, I think there's like 16 hours of tattoos done, where before I never could get tattoos. One process. So this is extremely powerful. I hope you guys have created that short movie clip. And we're going to dive into the trauma process now. So I'm going to turn off my camera and I want you guys to do the same thing, please. All right, boys. So once again, guys, I want you to close your eyes and feel the bottom of your feet, just like we've already done several times. And as you're feeling down there, we're just going to move that energy up our legs, past our knees, into our hips, into our heart, and we're going to feel our heart. We're going to move that energy down into the palms of our hands. And I want you, if you can, to just kind of feel your entire energy field of your entire body. Some of you meditate. You may be good at doing this. You can feel that internal energy field that puts you into the present moment. And I want you to come into that moment now. We just did a deep dive into frame control. I know some of you are slightly distracted, but just kind of come into the present moment with me. And I want you to imagine that you're driving your car. You're in the first person, which means you're in the driver's seat driving, and you drive up to a movie theater. And on the facade of that movie theater, it says your name. It says the life of your name. And you're like, huh, that's interesting. So you walk up to the window, and there's a girl who gets excited when she sees you, and she says, it's you, it's you. She hands you a golden ticket. And she says, go ahead and go to theater 1. We've completely closed the movie theater. Theater 1 is open for you. So go there. Your movie is waiting for you. So you give the man the ticket. He lets you in, and you go in theater 1, and you sit right in the middle, the absolute best spot in the entire movie theater. And now what I want you to do is I want you to float up out of your body as you're sitting in that movie theater, and I want you to float up into the projector room. And you notice that the projector room is super comfy. It's got nice carpet. It's got this big leather lazy boy couch, and it's got 1 foot thick bulletproof glass all around it. So you sit down on that couch and you just feel safe, and the temperature's perfect. It even smells good in that projector room. And you look to the right and you see the rack with all the tins on it, all the movie tins, and you see the tin with your name on it, the life of your name. So you get up and you go over and you grab that movie and you put it on the projector and you press play. And as you press play, the light shoots out of that projector room and you look down at yourself who's sitting in that movie theater, and you see the light kind of reflecting off your head, off your shoulders. And you see yourself watching, and then suddenly you float out of the projector room into your body as you're sitting there. And you notice that the movie clip that you created about your trauma, where it starts at a place where you're safe and ends at a place that you were safe, you notice that movie has just played because it's only 10 seconds. And so you see the final screen where maybe you're sitting on a couch, maybe you're in your bed, wherever you happen to be, that's the final scene of the movie. And then you float out of your body as you're sitting there in the middle of the movie theater. Your soul floats out of that body and floats into the movie screen. And now suddenly you're back in your body where you were when you were younger, when the trauma happened. Some of you were kids, some of you were in your 20s, 30s. Maybe it happened last year, but you're in your body again and you're at that place, maybe in your bed, on the couch, in the kitchen, wherever you happen to be. And you notice everything about that time. If you're a kid, you see the pajamas you're wearing, the smell of your sheets, the way your room looks with the dim light. Wherever you happen to be, you are there completely in the first person. So now what we're going to do is something really interesting. We're actually going to go backwards through this movie clip. Now, this is a little bit difficult to imagine correctly, but just trust yourself and know that you don't have to do it perfectly. As I said before, the magic takes place behind the curtain anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards. Don't do it yet. But what we're going to do is go backwards at about twice the speed. Okay, we're rewinding like a VHS tape. And we all remember, well, some of us do, those VHS tapes where it's like, whoa, 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 and we're going backwards. And while that little movie clip of your trauma is going backwards, we're going to put some circus music behind it. We're going to have Mickey Mouse walk through there. We're going to have a couple clowns walk through there. Maybe if somebody was involved, we're going to put a clown nose on them. Heck, let's put a clown nose on our own face. And we're going to go through it at twice the speed. And it's going to be a little crazy. It's going to be circus animals and clowns and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Goofy will walk by, and it's just going to be a little weird. So at the count of 3, we are going to go back, and I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to go backwards and just do your best with it. And I want you to arrive back at the place where you were safe before the trauma happened. So to reiterate, we're starting at the back of the trauma when the trauma ended, where we were safe, and we're going backwards, and we're going to end up at where we were before the trauma happened, where we were safe. All right, you ready? On the count of 3, we're going to go. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to go backwards. You're going to imagine all this weirdness happening while the trauma is happening, and you're going backwards. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Good. Now you're at the place that you were before the trauma happened. Now I want you to float out of that movie screen into your body as you're sitting there in the middle of the movie theater. Go ahead and take a sip of that large soft drink you have. Go ahead and take some popcorn. Now what I want you to do is float up into the projector room. Go ahead and sit down on that couch and take a deep breath and relax. You are safe. Temperature's perfect. It's warm in there. This rug is super soft, and it's that 1 foot thick bulletproof glass all around you. Now what I want you to do is float out of the projector room, back into your body as you're sitting there in the middle of the movie theater, and float out of your body back into the final frame where you were safe after the trauma ended. Now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to go 5 times as fast. So it's going to move faster. We're going to add in a few circus animals, an elephant, a walking bear. You can add a giraffe in there if you want. Once again, Goofy. We can add chipmunks in there, Daffy Duck, whoever you think is just silly, and put circus noses on them and just make it really, really silly. The count of three, we're going to go backwards. This time I'm going to give you 8 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Good. And you're now back where you were before the trauma happened. Float out of your body as you were in the movie, into your body as you are in the middle of the movie theater. Take a sip of that drink, eat some popcorn, and float back into the projector room. And there you are back on the couch, safe and secure. Take a deep breath. We got one more to do, brother. Just one more. Float out of the projector, back into your body in the middle of the movie theater. Now float into the movie screen, the very last scene, and we're going to go 10 times as fast. This is going to happen so fast, it's going to be like, whoop, 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 just that fast. I'm going to give you literally 3 seconds to do this. Just use your best imagination. Doesn't need to be perfect. Do your best with it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. Good. Now float out of that movie screen back into your body. Now you're going to get up, grab your soda, grab your popcorn. That's right. Don't forget them. Don't forget them. There you go. Walk out of the movie and throw those 2 things in the trash can. Huck them in there. There you go. Now what I want you to do is walk out of that movie theater. The sun hits your face, feels cleansing and healing, a beautiful day. You walk to your car, you get in. It's just the perfect temperature and your favorite song is on. And you drive off, and that ends the trauma release visualization. Okay, boys, how do you feel? Please drop a comment in the chat. And Marni, if you could read them for me, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was laughing half the time because of some of the things that you were saying, but that was fantastic. Smell the popcorn, terrific, relieved, good. Wonderful, guys. I was listening to Motorhead in my car. It was awesome, relaxed, state shift, thing away, maximum chill, peaceful. The pain from mine was too deep. That's what Paul Barnhill said.
Is pain from what? What did he say?
The pain from mine is too deep. So I think he's saying it still really hurts.
Yeah, that would require some other elements that can
Yeah.
certainly be worked on, brother. It can be worked on.
Yeah. Brian was the same as me, was laughing at it. When you were saying the chipmunk thing, I just started laughing. Hungry, took away the pain, fascinated, recharged. It was funny watching the person who caused the trauma struggling to get Chippendale out of their hair. Trauma.
That's good. That's good. That's good. The person who caused the trauma had Chippendale all up in their hair. That's good.
That's what this is for. Good tool, but need to practice many times, is what Jim said. These are great.
Cool. Yeah, actually, Jim, like I said, you don't have to do it perfectly. In fact, the time I did it, I botched it. It was horrible, and it still had the effect. So pay attention over the next several days and several weeks. You guys will feel, when it comes to that associated trauma, almost like it happened to somebody else, or I like to think it feels like it happened in a past life or somebody else's life to me. Like my whole phobia of needles is like, it feels, there's just no depth to it. It's like somebody else's story, or like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. Like it's not real for me anymore. And I used to, Marni, like, I went into a tattoo studio when I was 21. I passed out. It was so embarrassing. And then I hired my NLP coach because I had all this anxiety, did one NLP process, and weeks later I was getting tattoos because I've always wanted tattoos. And I was just like, whatever, man, go for it. Had no effect on me. And that's where I was like, man, there's really something to this NLP stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed it. And any other things you want to say, Marni, before we launch into 10x your self-esteem, 5 minutes?
This is all amazing.
Awesome. All right, boys. So while we're still in a mild hypnotic, mild relaxed state, let's go ahead and do one more. Stick with me on this, boys. Keep focused. And this one is beautiful. If you guys have tissues around, you might get some tears. I did this today because I wanted to review it, and I cried a little bit. So it may happen to you as well. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, gentlemen, just like we did last time, close your eyes. What I want you to do is give yourself, or I should say, give your self-esteem a score right now between 1 and 100. So if you had to give your self-esteem a score, where would it be? Some of you at 60, some of you unfortunately are below 50, some of you at 90. And just be honest with yourself and give yourself that score. I want you to imagine that you're attending a banquet, And the banquet is one of those scenes where there's food being served and there's some kind of award ceremony that's going to take place. And as you walk into the banquet hall, you see a table right in the middle filled with all your friends, your family, the people who you love the most. And as you look at that table, there's an open seat, and that seat is just for you. So you walk up to that seat and everybody smiles. Some people get up and pat you on the back, and it just feels so loving, so positive, and so right. And you're there at that table and you're just with your family and friends, and you guys are all laughing and everybody's getting along, and it's just a really positive feeling. Now, what I want you to do is at the table, as you're sitting there, float out of your body, as we've done several times today, float up to the ceiling, just above and behind where you're seated in the banquet hall. And now you can shift your perspective by floating around to the front of the table, to the side of it, wherever you want to be. And you see that wherever you want to go, you can be there. So you're looking at yourself, and some of you will float right down and look closely at yourself. And man, do you look good. You're wearing a suit that fits like a glove. Your hair is perfect, like it's never been before. You just look amazing. Your watch is super sick. Your shoes are on point. Your socks match your shirt. You just look really, really good. Now, what you want to do is look around the room, and you see that it's people that you've known for your entire life. You see people from your early childhood, from the time you were in elementary school, middle school, high school, college, your first job, places you've lived around the world. Everybody that you've affected is in that banquet hall. And you realize they're all there for you. Everybody has come for you because you have affected all of these people in some way. So now, as you look at yourself, you hear your name get called, and you see yourself get up, and you walk up to the stage confidently. You get up to that stage and you get in front of the microphone and you start talking, and you can't really hear what you're saying, but you're just totally focused on how you look and how confident you are. You've never seen yourself behave this way. And as you look at yourself, you feel that feeling of love for yourself, that, yeah, man, I have been through a lot. I have accomplished a lot. I work on myself. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to get this women thing fixed. I'm trying to become a better man. And I love myself and I respect myself. Now, what I want you to do is I want that soul part of you, that part that's floating up at the ceiling, watching this whole thing unfold. I want you to float that soul part of you into the body of a loved one who's sitting at that main table. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, a colleague, somebody who just loves you and really cares about you. So you float into their body, and now you're looking out of their eyes. You're hearing their thoughts, and they're thinking about you. They're saying how much they love you, how proud they are of you, how much they care about you, how much they respect you, and how much they just want you to feel that same way about yourself, because you are special and you deserve that same love that they're pouring into you. And you can feel that love for yourself pouring from them. And you never knew how much you were worth in this person's eyes. Now I want you to float out of their body and float into your body as you're on stage. And now you're looking out your eyes and you see all those people you've affected with big smiles on their faces. And you finish your speech and you walk down the steps and everybody stands up and starts clapping. And they all start gathering around you, clasping you on the back, giving you hugs, giving you smiles, telling you how much they love you. And it just feels good. You are a person who is worthy of this love. You are a person who has come so far, who has shown that warrior spirit, and you deserve this praise. You deserve all these kind things that these people are saying, because yes, you have had a positive effect on their lives, and yes, you do matter. Now I want you to take that guy who's in that suit, who's feeling great, who's at peak energy, and float him out of that banquet. There you go, and float him into your body as you're sitting there right now. There you go, float him into your body and feel that self-love, feel that appreciation, feel that respect. And I want you to give it a color. What color is it? Is it green? Is it blue? Bright red? Whatever it is, turn up the color, like thousands of LED lights are in that color in your energy field, just glowing, and turn it up from 8 to 9 to 10, where it's glowing so bright it actually leaves your body and lights up the entire room you're in. And I want you to paint the inside of your body with that color, down to the very cells, down to the DNA. That self-love, that self-respect, and sit there for 5 seconds with that feeling inside you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is your number now? You gave yourself a score between 1 and 100. What number is it now? Please leave a comment in the chat box if you would. From what number to what number?
So 50 to 95, 60 to 100, 65 to 85, 60 to 80, 65 to 90, 75 to 80, 33 to 57, 60 to 90, 75 to 90.
Cool.
Going too fast, 60 to 70, 45 to 70. Amazing.
Great, guys. And this is a practice that obviously requires repetition when it comes to installing those new belief systems. Like, one time is usually enough to remove traumas, to remove belief systems, but installation needs to be a continuous process. And that's what I teach in my program, is how to install these consistently. And usually by week 6, it's cool, Marni. It's like watching guys go through puberty, right? It's like they start as one guy, and then by week 6, they're just like, man, I feel completely different. And really, it's not like installing something new. It's just getting back to your original self-esteem you were born with, removing the bullshit that other people gave you, BS bullshit, belief systems that other people gave you before you could defend yourself.
Yeah, I love it. Hey guys, I just wanted to thank you so much for watching this masterclass and taking action. I'm just speaking to the future, because hopefully you will take action on what you've learned here today, because it takes a lot, but I know that you can do it. And it shows that you are wanting to be better and constantly improve yourself, which, as you know, is super attractive and sexy to women. I also wanted to share something with you. It's an email that I got from one of the guys who is a part of my Inner Circle program. And I want to share it with you because I know how hard it is and how hard it can be doing this stuff on your own. And I want to show you that if you apply this and follow along with us, whether it's a masterclass or hopefully the Inner Circle, what this can do to change your life. So here is the email that I got. He wrote, I will ask forgiveness for this unsolicited contact, but I know you like success stories. I've been dating this girl for about 6 months. She's wonderful. She treats me like gold and spoils me. I think I'm going to keep this one. But it's proof that your stuff works. I wouldn't have gotten here without your material, and I'm still in a state of disbelief, but the proof is in the pudding. I'm really happy from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Okay, and that is just one of the countless emails that I get from guys. I probably get about like 50 to 100 of those every single week, but this one really stuck out for me. These masterclasses are just one piece of the puzzle, a big piece, but still just a piece. Application, practice, and feedback, direct feedback from a no-nonsense wing girl or many wing girls, is what really lets you hone and own the skills you want and make them second nature. If you are wanting to become a master with women, a master at dating, attraction, and possibly love, I'm not pushing that on you, but I want you to have options, then I want you to join my Inner Circle. I want to work with you directly to help you become the man women want, and quite frankly, the man that you've always wanted to be, with women and without women. I'm pretty picky about who I let into my Inner Circle, but I'm really hoping that you are the kind of man that I think you are. So to learn more about my Inner Circle, and if you qualify to join, I want you to click the button below to apply. I really hoped that you enjoyed this masterclass, and I'm excited to see you in my Inner Circle. I will see you next time.